ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Carnage Corner. I am Ken Carnage, and today we are going to be taking a look at Clash of Champions and Smackdown from this last week. I'm not going to talk about Raw. I didn't get to see it, unfortunately, so we're just going to talk about the things that I did see, and I'll break it down for you, tell you, you know, the different things that went on. So the Clash of Champions, which was the first Raw exclusive pay-per-view that we've gotten since the brand split. Backlash was the first exclusive for SmackDown. I was actually very happy with Backlash. Uh, Clash of Champions. Well, we're going to get into that. They started off the pre-show with with an interview with Sasha. It's her going on about how she's going to reclaim the women's championship from Charlotte. Sasha does pretty good with her promos. Her promos interrupted by Dana Brooke, who I don't know how else to put this other than to say that Dana sucks. She's not a good talker. She's not confident on the mic. She kind of makes me cringe when she gets on the mic to talk, and it's uh, just I really wish they wouldn't give her a microphone. And that's not even talking about what she does when she goes out ringside with Charlotte. She's playing catch up. It's very, very apparent. But moving on from there, Sheamus showed up on the pre-show panel. He talked a little bit about his best of 7 with Cesaro. All good things. On the pre-show, we had Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox. Might have been Alicia Fox's best match ever, actually. She actually, um, you know, put on a fairly decent match, I'll say. Nia won the match. Overall, while I said Alicia put on a fairly decent performance, overall, I was unimpressed by the match. I'm unimpressed by Nia Jax. They're booking her as this powerhouse, and I don't buy it. I don't buy it. We've had powerhouse women in the past. Women like Awesome Kong or Karma, if you will. Women like Beth Phoenix. Women like China. Like women who look very powerful, very strong. I don't know. Just something about Nia. The way they're booking her doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel like it fits. Um, that being said, getting into the meat of the night, the Clash of Champions. The first match was the New Day versus the Club for the Tag Team Championships. I would like to preface this by saying I unadulteratedly hate the New Day. It is the dumbest gimmick I have ever seen. I just I literally want to turn off the television every time they're on it. And the only reason I will actually sit and watch their title matches is because I want them to lose, and I'm hoping that they will, and they don't. And they book these guys as baby faces, and they cheat to win. Xavier hit the guy in the head with the trombone to secure the win. They're cheating to win, yet they're the baby faces. That's bad. That's bass backwards booking, and just they don't need them. Just because I don't like the New Day, but the crowd apparently does. They seem to like New Day very much. I don't know what kind of drugs they're giving the people as they walk in the door to make them like New Day, but meh. Okay, so that being said, New Day retains by cheating, and this is bullshit. Can we take the tag titles off of the clowns yet? Like, sir, you have successfully killed your tag team titles. They mean nothing at this point. The goddamn trombone is more over than your tag team titles. What are you doing? All right, so and then we had our cruiserweight championship match, the first ever defense of the new cruiserweight title. Champion T.J. Perkins, who's great. He is awesome. He is I was not familiar with T.J. Perkins before the cruiserweight open or whatever the hell they called it, and this kid's good. He is awesome. Very entertaining. Very athletic. Very fun to watch. And he was defending against Brian Kendrick is always awesome. If you're familiar with Brian Kendrick's work from years ago in the WWE, Kendrick's dynamite, and they had a great match. Um, Perkins did retain the title, and Brian Kendrick turned heel and smacked Perkins with a headbutt, and it was good. It was great. I'm looking forward to see the cruiserweight division. Might be the only reason I watch Raw. That might be what it becomes, because right now, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only thing Raw has going for it. And then they had an interview with Cesaro. Okay, Cesaro, of course, talking about the best of seven. Him and Sheamus having the last match in their best of seven series. We'll get into that fiasco in just right now, actually. So, and then of course, Cesaro versus Sheamus. Okay, this match was a cluster, an absolute cluster. It started out good. It started out as a good match. These guys have good matches with each other. Um, you know, I thought Cesaro was going to kill himself. I really, actually, for a second there, was very concerned. Cesaro did a suicide dive, which, let's be honest, in professional wrestling, there is absolutely no reason for a 245, 250-pound man to do a freaking suicide dive. That's just stupid. And he almost killed himself because he barely hit Sheamus, and he freaking lawn darted his head into the freaking floor. And if his shoulders weren't as big as they are, he'd have broke his damn neck, because his head hit and then his shoulder hit. And just if he was not as the size of man that he is with the way he landed, he could have been seriously hurt. But he was able to get up and continue the match, and he did not seem to have, he did not seem to be injured, thankfully. Um, but the finish of this match, so Sheamus and Cesaro both go crashing over the guardrail, and then all of a sudden the doctors are deeming that they're unfit to continue the match. While I think it's the most screwed up finish I've ever seen, well, maybe not ever seen, but one of the most screwed up finishes I've ever seen, I will say this much: Sheamus and Cesaro, they sold it pretty well, especially Sheamus. Sheamus put on quite a show there, trying to, not letting people help him and whatnot, and so I'll give them credit on that one. At least they put their, they put their heart into it. They tried to make you believe it, but I don't know. I think this was a misstep in booking, to be completely honest, because it's a best of seven series. First off, never should have went to seven, because everybody's, you go to seven, you're just being predictable. But that being said, from there we went into a backstage segment with Bayley, and then Charlotte coming in to kind of talk some smack, and it was all very generic. It was nothing really original, nothing really important. It was all, very paint by numbers, and it really didn't matter. It didn't make you care. Okay. Then we went into Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. This was a great match. These guys had a great match. Jericho won the match. Um, we then go into a backstage segment with The Miz and excuse me, with Mick, Miz, how am I doing? Go with Mick and Stephanie and Kevin Owens, and this segment was kind of so-so. It was, why are we seeing this? We don't need to see this. Wrestling fans want to see wrestling. They don't want to see the commissioner and the general manager. They want to see wrestling. You know, it's bad enough you got the fruit roll up title. At least to have people wrestle for it. That being said, we then went into the U.S. title match. Oh, excuse me, I'm skipping ahead. We went into the women's title match. Okay, women's title match. Bayley versus Sasha versus Charlotte. It was pretty good. Triple threat matches are always very chaotic with the back and forth and the people peeking over the apron. Is it time for my spot yet? That kind of shit. You got lots of that. That being said, it was a good match. Nothing was great on this show, and I can't tell you why. It just everything felt off. That being said, so you had the women's title match. Charlotte wins. Charlotte pins Bayley, and I gotta say, I believe Bayley was pinned. Wow, I cannot talk tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Bayley was pinned so that Sasha and Charlotte can continue their feud going forward. Basically, Bayley was put in this because she's brand new, been brought on Raw. Give her the rub from the two top women on the show. Let everybody know that she's here to dance, and then put her in an angle of her own. And I truly believe that's what they did, and that's fine. That's actually smart booking for getting somebody over. And I know what you're saying. Bayley's over. Don't you watch NXT? I do watch NXT, and Bayley is over, but not everybody has the network. Not everybody watches NXT. There are people who only watch Raw or SmackDown who went, "Who's this chick with the side pony?" Like, those people are out there. I know it might be hard to believe, but they do exist. So, they got to make sure they get her over all over again. Just like people like you and me, we may know AJ Styles, but AJ Styles came into the WWE and he had to get over again. It's just the way things work. That being said, moving on into the United States title match, Rusev versus Roman Reigns. The first thing I noticed is when Roman Reigns came out, Roman Reigns is truly John Cena 2.0 because the crowd hit him with the "Let's go Roman, Roman sucks." Well, that's been Cena's gimmick for the past 8 years, So that being said, that I personally feel that doesn't do Roman any favors. Roman's going to be that guy. He's going to be that guy who is loved by women and children and despised by men because we don't believe him. He's not real. You got your fake ass good guy bullshit. No, be a man. Show aggression. Show some fight. You do not need to be a Boy Scout. Being a Boy Scout is not going to get you over. This is not Hulk Hogan. Take your vitamins and say your prayers. That shit's dead. Okay? This is not the 70s. This is not the 80s. And yes, I'm well aware that this is not the 90s or the 2000s anymore, unfortunately. Okay, so that being said, Lana got herself kicked out. She got ejected from ringside, which is pretty cool. It's a nice moment for her to give somewhat of a performance. It, gives Rusev a chance to complain, and it gives Roman Reigns a chance to spear the shit out of Rusev. And of course, Roman wins the title. Yeah. So Roman wins the United States Championship. He is now, I would say, firmly out of the Universal title picture, which that's probably his punishment. Because I would assume he's still got some heat with the front office, given the fact that over his wellness policy fail and that kind of stuff. They seem to be pretty upset with him, and I think this is him getting moved out of the Universal title picture, put into the feud with Rusev, that and ultimately putting the U.S. title on him. You know, I really feel like that's being that's him being put in a place where it's like, here, you just stay there, you're in timeout kind of thing. So that being said, Roman's in timeout and we're moving on. We had a nice backstage segment with Mick and Steph and Seth, and by nice I mean unnecessary. Yes, by nice I mean unnecessary. We don't need this. We, it's just, we, you know, you don't want to see the general manager or the commissioner. You don't want to see them unless you need to see them. Okay? You don't need to see them for this. Okay? It's just, all you did was give Kevin Owens a chance to get in the face of Mick Foley, and Seth Rollins a chance to get in the face of Stephanie McMahon. That's all you did. Okay, yeah, and Seth dropped his little hint about about Triple H there, and because I would bet dollars to donuts that they are currently building towards Seth Rollins versus Triple H for WrestleMania. That is that I honestly I'm staking my claim now. I believe that is their long-term booking goal with this. So that being said, we go into the Universal Championship match. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Match was good. These two guys can work. These two guys are good. Seth is outstanding, and Owens can really go. You take a look at him, you don't expect him to be able to move and compete and perform the way that he does, but he's good. So they were having a great match. Jericho came out. He got involved. You got some cheating going on, feet on the ropes and whatnot. Ultimately, the ref gets knocked out, and then it's a handicap match because Jericho is assaulting Seth Rollins. Stephanie comes out, sending a new ref down. Rollins was getting the new ref's attention. Get in here, get in here. He turns around, pop up powerbomb, and 1, 2, 3. Owens wins, and they did something here. Stephanie's still a heel, guys. Stephanie's still playing that game because they got the camera to linger on Stephanie, and she just gave the slightest bit of a smirk. And that's because Stephanie still she didn't want Rollins to win. Stephanie still got that ego, and believe it or not, I'm pretty sure that ego is real, but I'm not gonna get into that. So that being said, that was Clash of Champions. That was the way they ended Clash of Champions. Raw's not doing well. I'm not impressed with the Monday Night Raw that comes to us week by week. And their first outing for a pay-per-view on their own was disappointing. It was disappointing. To me, anyways, I should say. Maybe there are people who liked it. Those are the same people who drank the funny hot dog water and like the New Day. So, so that being said, that was Clash of Champions. Now we're going to go ahead and, like I said, I did not get a chance to catch Raw. I was working. I was not anywhere near a television, so there was no getting to Raw. Truth be told, I don't think I missed a whole hell of a lot. But that being said, we will move into SmackDown, and SmackDown opened up with Randy Orton. Randy Orton came out to the ring, cut a good promo. He calls out Wyatt, and tells Wyatt he's afraid. And Randy's promos are good. Randy can always cut a good promo, and so he calls out Bray Wyatt, and then Dr. Seuss's creepy cousin comes on the Titantron. For those of you who don't know, that's Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is absolutely Dr. Seuss's creepy cousin. I think that Bray Wyatt takes Dr. Seuss books and like rips pages out of them and staples them together, and that's how he reads his promos. Okay, because they don't make a damn bit of sense. So that being said, Wyatt comes on the Titantron. He says some crap. I couldn't even tell you what he said. And Randy goes in the back looking for him. Okay. And, then we had a backstage interview with Dean. Dean cut himself a little promo, ripping on AJ Styles, ripping on John Cena. And then we go into an 8-man tag match. I'm not the biggest fan of 8-man tag team matches unless it's Survivor Series and it's an elimination style. Otherwise, it just turns into a group fornication and nothing makes any sense. But that being said, 8-man tag team match, Heath Slater and Rhino with partnering up with American Alpha to take on the Usos and the Ascension. The match wasn't bad. Well, first off, the Usos debuted new ring music, and of course they've been wearing different gear, and they got a whole new attitude, and I like it. I like the heel Usos. These guys should have been heels from day one. They really should have been. That being said, American Alpha, the match itself was good. It started off great with a lot from American Alpha in the very beginning. American Alpha is outstanding. American Alpha is absolutely outstanding. They're great. I love watching these guys work because it feels real. It feels right. These guys, they wrestle and they fight, and everything makes sense. Everything is logical. There is no stupid, there's none of that crap. It's I'm gonna grab you, I'm gonna throw you, I'm gonna grab your arm, I'm gonna take you down, I'm gonna tweak it, I'm going to center on a body part, and I'm going to hurt you. It feels real. And that's what it's supposed to feel like. They're not supposed to be cartoon characters brought to life. We're supposed to believe this is combat, and American Alpha does that, and they do it well. So, and the Usos are working so much better because they're showing this viciousness. The way they keep going after Chad Gable's leg, the way they go after Heath Slater's leg. The Usos, they debuted a great new, I hope this is going to be like the way they win all their matches from now on. They do that attack to the back of the knee, and then, you're going to have to forgive me. I cannot tell the Usos apart, especially not in a match when they're moving. But one of them, and then whoever's the legal man, he hooked Heath Slater into the Tequila Sunrise submission, and Heath had to tap out. And it worked so well because you attack that knee and then you lock on a hold and the guy taps. It's a great finish. And I think that should be the way they finish their matches when they win. It's great. Submission wins show more dominance than pinfall wins anyways. It's always the case. It's just the way it is. I had been saying straight along that I thought that Heath and Rhino will keep the tag titles until Rhino gets sick of Heath. I'm going to stand by that, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the Usos versus Heath Slater and Rhino at No Mercy, because that's going to be really, really good. Then we go into a backstage interview with Cena. Yep, we go into a backstage interview with Cena, and I don't care. So moving on from there, we go into, they were in Cleveland, which is the Miz's hometown, also the home of the Cleveland Cavaliers, which they tell me is a basketball team. They also tell me that they won the world basketball whatever. In case you didn't notice, I don't really follow basketball. I can't watch it. It's the squeaky shoes, like they drive me nuts. I can't do it. I like to play basketball, but that's another story. Anyways, moving moving on. Miz is backstage and he's making somebody put a picture of him up in front of LeBron James's picture. Uh, it was pretty funny. So that being said, we then go from there after the break to Randy Orton in some weird Wyatt gimmick room. I don't know what the hell this was. He's looking for Bray Wyatt. There's a little Blair Witch stick figure arrow schnabitz there, and he grabs it and he spins it around. And why he's spinning it around, I couldn't tell you. But he spins the damn thing around, and then he walks around, and then you pan back, and it's obviously Eric Rowan there, and Eric Rowan must have grown up because he doesn't have the lamb mask anymore. Now it's a ram mask with the horns but anyways, Randy walks around. You go back in the little gimmick Schnabitz arrow there that has been turned. It's been turned back, and then you see Rowan standing there. And I don't know. This was supposed to build suspense. The problem is nobody cares about this feud. You guys have shit on Bray Wyatt so much that. Like, the guy talks about being a god and talks about this, that, and the other, and then he loses. When was the last time Bray Wyatt won a match? I couldn't even tell you. So, I mean, they had him job out to Kane. And Kane usually, not to not shitting on Kane here, but Kane don't really work that much anymore. And usually when he does, it's to help another talent get over. So, that being said, then all of a sudden we go from backstage, we go from the gimmick Schnabitz room that Randy's in looking for Bray to the Titantron with Bray on it and Bray talking. Too much of this crap. Like I have liked what SmackDown has done up till this point, but this. Too much of this. This is not a bad first-person independent horror film, guys. This is Tuesday Night SmackDown. What are you doing? So that being said, we then move into the Naomi and Brie Bella versus Carmella and Natalya, or as I like to call it, bathroom break. Because they did those damn pre-recorded promos. You know, this team talks about this team, and this team talks about this team, and I cringe. God, do I cringe because none of these women, I don't like their promos. They don't talk. They don't talk well. It doesn't feel real. It makes me cringe. It's like you know what it is. You know what it is. You go watch a children's movie, like a movie where there are lots of children and they talk. Okay, and the kids start saying stuff, and you're just like, because you're like, no, you're embarrassed for them. Yeah, that's how I feel when the divas have microphones, because they suck. So, okay, moving on from there. Carmella and Natalya won their match. It was a crap match. You can't even say it was a good match. If Naomi put half as much a thought into her ring work as she does her entrance, she'd be a lot better. That being said, we're gonna walk away from this crap, and we're going to move into the Bray Wyatt gimmick room again, where Randy is searching for something. Randy looks in this door, and there's a cardboard cutout of Randy with its eyes cut out. Randy opens this door. He doesn't see anything, but over here you see Eric Rowan again. But Randy doesn't go in there. He closes the door and he walks away. It is crap. Like, seriously. Oh, God. Moving on. We're moving on, guys. We're moving on. The Miz's homecoming celebration. This was great. Miz comes out, and can I just go ahead and take the moment to say that I cannot stand David Otunga's commentary. Like, David Otunga wasn't bad in the ring. He wasn't. He was pretty good. He definitely had his moments, but on commentary, he don't feel right. He doesn't feel right. Um, that being said, Miz comes out to the ring, calls himself Cleveland's favorite son, goes on a tirade. Um, he calls LeBron James a traitor, which, I mean, if you're a basketball fan, maybe you understand why. I don't. I have no idea why he'd be calling LeBron James a traitor. I know I think it's funny. But aside from that, I couldn't tell you. Um, and hey, of course, he thanks his parents, who I have no idea if those were his real parents in the crowd or if they were plants or what, but he thanked his parents. And then, he called out Dolph Ziggler's parents, who were supposedly in the crowd too. And Dolph comes out, and can I just say how tired I am of Dolph Ziggler? You might have heard this from me before, but like, I am sick of Dolph Ziggler. I'm done. Enough is enough, dude. And Miz kind of says exactly that to him. Like, Miz just rips him apart, just freaking trashes him. And then Dolph whines and cries like a little bitch, because that's what he does. That's all Dolph Ziggler does, is whine and cry and give me Ajda. So, that being said, Miz goes to leave. Dolph asks for one more shot. And then the Cleveland chants one more time. One more time. What did they give you? You people are crazy. I do not know what the hell is wrong with Cleveland, but come on. Ugh. Anyways, Dolph says that if he can't win the Intercontinental Championship this time, he'll call it a career. He'll hang it up. And Miz accepts. So, at No Mercy, we are going, just like I thought we would, we're going to see Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. And if Dolph loses, he's going to have to retire. God, I hope he loses. But he's probably going to win. That being said, we're going to go ahead and move forward here. And then we have another Bray Wyatt video. Again, there's too much of this crap. Anyways, so that was the Bray Wyatt video. Becky Lynch comes out. I was happy. Becky Lynch is gonna come out. Becky's probably the best performer on SmackDown's female roster. She's great in the ring. She can talk. She's one of the very few divas who gets on the microphone and I don't go, oh, please stop talking. Okay, she's good. Okay, that being said, we didn't get to see her wrestle. We didn't get to see her talk because she got jumped from behind by Little Miss Harley Quinn knockoff, who I also can't stand. Yes, Alexa Bliss attacked Becky Lynch on the stage, and she holds the title up and she's like, "You don't deserve this, I do." But then she leaves it with Becky. Like, seriously, if you're gonna be the heel that is gonna take the title and say, "This is mine, you don't deserve it," then frickin' take it with you. What the hell? Like, oh god. Anyways, we're just gonna stay on target. Full speed ahead. That being said, the Kurt Hawkins. The Kurt Hawkins. I'm tired of these Kurt Hawkins vignettes. I'm just. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. And then Bray Wyatt on the Titantron again. Again. We had like 10 times we went back into this frickin' retarded gimmick room of Bray Wyatt's that we went back into like 10 times. Why? Unnecessary. Okay. Anyways, Bray's talking, And then all of a sudden, here's Randy Orton behind him with a lamb mask on. Why is Randy Orton wearing a lamb mask? I don't know, but he is. And then Randy attacks Bray, and Bray runs away. And then Randy sits down in Bray's chair, puts on his lamb mask, and does one of these. Looked pretty creepy. It did. It looked creepy as hell, but I don't understand why you're doing it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. No sense. Where's the logic? Logic! Where is it? Okay. Now that I'm done with my aneurysm, we can get into what was our... Oh, before we get to our main event, we had a backstage interview with AJ Styles. It was the only backstage interview of the night that was any damn good. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Dean wasn't bad, but AJ's great. AJ's awesome on the mic. AJ's awesome in the ring. I don't think I could ever get tired of watching AJ Styles work, whether it be in the ring or on the mic. He's great, and he's really relishing this role as a heel, because he can just pretty much, he doesn't have to try, he doesn't have to worry about whether or not people like him. He doesn't want people to like him. It's not his job right now. That being said, we go into the, Cena comes out to sit at ringside, and we're going into our World Heavyweight Championship match between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose. And Dean and AJ, they tear it up. They have a great match. And just like they did at Backlash. They have an awesome match. Their styles really gel with each other. They're good to, because you got Dean with that crazy brawler, and AJ can do anything. Except be 6'6" and 300 pounds. Okay, so other than that, AJ can do anything. So, him and Dean tear it up, and then out of nowhere, AJ decides he's going to cheap shot Cena. And so AJ cheap shot Cena, and then gets back in the ring, and he's going with Ambrose and whatnot, and Cena comes barreling in, going after AJ, and the referee's making sure Cena doesn't go in there. But while the referee's doing that, Dean's got AJ pinned. So Cena kind of cost Dean the World Heavyweight Championship. Boo-hoo, who cares? So Dean gets pissed off. Dean attacks John. Okay, and when Dean comes back in the ring, AJ gets him with the roll-up. AJ wins. AJ is still the World Heavyweight Champion, going into No Mercy for the triple threat match. Great, awesome. Cena comes in. He's getting in the face of him, and Dean are having this shouting match at each other, and Dean goes to hit him, and Cena gives Dean an FU, and then here comes AJ, and Cena FUs AJ, and then Cena standing tall, holding up the title, and that's how they end the match. So it's fine. It's fine because we've had nights where we went off the air and AJ was standing tall, nights we went off the air and Dean was standing tall. It only makes sense that one night we're going to go off the air with Cena standing tall, and it's basically to let you know anything can happen in a triple threat match. So you got to be excited for No Mercy, because what's going to happen? I can't tell you what's going to happen. I know what I think is going to happen. I think AJ is going to retain. I think AJ is going to retain by pinning or submitting Dean Ambrose. And I think AJ and Cena are going to continue this feud with Ambrose doing something else. What, I'm not sure. But I really, really, really believe that the best thing to do is to build Cena AJ to, I believe if you're going to have Cena win his 16th world title, it should be at WrestleMania. And WrestleMania is not that far away, guys. You forget, like, we're getting into October now. It's in February, end of February, beginning of March. That's WrestleMania. You got what, 4 months? I'm just saying, you can build it. You can do it. You can drag it out. You can make, because if you drag it out enough, okay, and you let Cena keep getting screwed, this, that, or the other, I feel like the best place for Cena to win, to get that accomplishment that he's looking for. I don't want him to tie Ric Flair, but if he's going to, he should do it on the grandest stage, shouldn't he? You know. That being said, Talking Smack is kind of a hit or miss show, but I'm going to talk about it. Becky was a guest. Becky Lynch was a guest on Talking Smack. She cut an awesome promo talking about Alexa Bliss. John Cena was also a guest on Talking Smack. He talked a little bit of shit. There's something John's been doing, and I don't like it. John has been like he talks about, like he said it to AJ, and then he said it on Talking Smack. He's like, these guys get to go home. You know, they're getting the day off. I gotta go do this talk show, and I gotta go do that talk show, and I got. It's like he's complaining. It's like he's complaining that he is that successful, that he's got to go do this, that the company wants him to do this. It's like he's complaining, and that is ridiculous, because you have every other guy in that locker room would kill for that spot. He's complaining about being awarded opportunities to make himself known and to be successful. Opportunities that he's getting, and if he's getting them, that means other people aren't. So for Cena to be complaining, it's kind of a heel move. And I think I might be the only one who sees it this way, because I'm also the only one who sees Daniel Bryan as a heel when he's interacting with The Miz. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. But if you look at things logically, the best thing to always do is to remove emotion from the equation and simply look at things logically. And if you do that, it is insulting to everyone else who works in that company for Cena to complain about his success. So, that being said, I don't know. I don't like that. I just don't like it. A couple of bullet points I want to touch on. The Styles Clash. AJ's finishing move, the Styles Clash. I like the move. It's a great move. I don't like seeing him do it to John Cena. John's a big, tall guy. And when AJ gets him in that move, John's head is this freaking high above the mat. And I don't like John Cena, his on-screen persona or whatnot. But one of these days, I'm worried one of these days I'm going to see him get his neck broke because of this move getting botched. So I don't like. AJ should really reserve that move to use it on guys who are a little smaller than, say, a John Cena. Because I don't know. Like, John Cena's like 6'4", okay? You know, you throw a Randy Orton out there. Orton's like 6'5", 6'6". I don't think AJ could even do the Styles Clash to Orton. I don't think he could. And not only do I not think he could, I know that he shouldn't. That being said, the last thing I wanted to talk about was dual branded pay-per-views. Stuff like I'm sure Survivor Series will be, and stuff like I'm sure Royal Rumble will be, and of course WrestleMania. With the exception of WrestleMania, SummerSlam happened. SummerSlam got all screwed up. The booking on that was so stupid. But, you know, out of, like, for Survivor Series, what's the big appeal to Survivor Series? It's that Survivor Series match. That, you know, that 10-man tag team match. maybe I'm nuts. I could be nuts. If I'm nuts, tell me I'm nuts. But I think for the Survivor Series match, you can have your lesser titles defended. Have the U.S. title defended. Have the Intercontinental title defended. Have the tag team titles defended. The women's titles defended. Absolutely. World Heavyweight title and the Universal Championship, I don't think they should be defended at a dual show. Hear me out here. At a Survivor Series, you have the teams. It'll be the World Heavyweight Champions team versus the Universal Champions team. That's how that should go. Neither belt's on the line. It's for, it's defense of the brand. When the brands come together, it should be warfare. So let's say going into Survivor Series, let's say that AJ's still champion and Owens is still champion. It should be Team AJ versus Team Owens. And if you want to continue the AJ, John, and Owens, Seth rivalries, well, it's real simple. You make sure that John is on AJ's team and Seth is on, John's on the SmackDown team and Seth is on the Raw team. And then you've got friction and then you've got drama and this, that, but they've got the common goal. It's about which brand is superior. And you know what? If Team SmackDown wins, then until Royal Rumble, until they meet again, SmackDown gets to say they're the better show. And it actually means something. Or Raw, vice versa, whatever. Okay? Now, in the case of a Royal Rumble, yes, the Royal Rumble is going to have everybody in it. But again, I don't think that we should see the World Heavyweight Championship and the Universal Championship defended. Because the problem becomes who gets top billing. That's the problem. Who gets top billing? Okay? Which show do you show more love to? Okay, and I think that in a situation like that, have it be World Champ versus Universal Champ. No titles are on the line, but have it be that and make it big. Give it that big fight feel. Take a cue from, like from the UFC or from, from boxing, and have like a press conference type deal. Shoot the angle, build it up, and then let it explode. I feel like that would be a better way to handle the cross-branded pay-per-views than to, have this screwy-ass booking system that they had at SummerSlam. That being said, I am Ken Carnage, and this has been Carnage Corner. Thank you for joining me, and remember, until next time, Carnage is right around the corner.